Hey friends, we are going to make a little light show in TinkerCAD. Okay, so if I go to my home screen, it's got all my stuff. It's got my circuits right here. Click on circuits. I'm going to go make a new circuit, create circuits. Okay, and then I'll name this, call it your name, LED Lightshow. There we go, enter. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to use the Arduino. Now, if I search for Arduino Uno Rev 3, there's one here that actually has the breadboard connected already, so that'll save us some time. So if I get that, and then I'll click on R to rotate it around the right way. Okay, and then I can move all of those components around. I can drag the screen around. There we go. Okay, we're going to start with this. I'll move this over a little bit so we've got a bit more space, and I'm actually going to delete these wires up here connecting the two power rails together just to keep it uncluttered. We're just going to use this left side of the board. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to get an LED, and I'm going to make it light. So if I grab that red LED, I'll rotate it around. Now, I want my positive anode leg up at the top, so I'm going to mirror it, and I'll put it over on my board here. Doesn't matter where, really, just so I've got some space right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect it up. So positive power rail to the positive leg of my LED. Okay, you can see it's connecting in the same row. And then I'm going to connect the negative leg with a resistor. So if I start typing resistor, it'll show up, right? Oops, right here. So grab that. And then I'm going to use a 220 ohm. 220 ohm. There we go. Resistor. Let's rotate that around. And then I'm going to connect that from the negative leg to the negative power rail. Here we go. Okay, now if I start simulating, so run that. Here we go. So it plugs in the Arduino, and then the 5-volt power from the Arduino powers the power rails on the breadboard, and it turns the LED on, which is awesome. Okay, stop simulation. What we're going to do now is instead of just using the Arduino for power, we're going to use the Arduino for our code. So I'm going to delete that wire, and then we're going to connect one of these output pins here. So I'm going to connect the, zoom in for you. I'm going to connect the pin 13, click, going to make some nice neat corners, and I'm going to connect that to the positive leg of the LED, all right? And then we're going to program the Arduino to turn that LED on and off. So what we do is we go to code. Now there's some code already given to us right here. So this looks familiar. It looks like Scratch. So there's an on start block that runs at the start, and then there's a forever loop that runs over and over again. We can also use the code in the text view. So if I go to text, this is C++ code. There's a setup function. Okay, that's just like a block in Scratch. So that says void setup. All right, the function is called setup. And then there's a loop function, which is like a forever loop in Scratch. And this says void loop. So that loop function, it just runs over and over again. And all that's doing is it's turning on the built-in LED and turning it off over and over again. Okay, I think if I start that, it's gonna, there we go. See that the LED right here is turning on and off. There we go. It's actually turning on and off our LED on pin 13 as well, because that's like the built-in pin. Okay. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to edit the code. So if I stop simulating, let's go to, it's going to make the code quite a lot bigger for us, right? Here we go. So, all right, let's go back to blocks a second, and then we're going to switch to text. So what we want to do is we want to, I'm going to drag this out of this block here, drag that away from there. Oops. Get that off there. Delete that. I'm going to keep my weight block, put that in there. Keep this weight block. Try to get rid of that. Okay. what I'm going to do is I'm going to set pin 13, set pin 13 high. Okay, and then I'm going to wait 1 second, and then I'm going to set pin 13, what do you think turns it off? Low, and then I'm going to wait 1 second. Okay, so 13 high, wait 1 second, 13 low, wait 1 second. So if I start the simulation there, okay, it's turning on, turning off, turning on, turning off. Okay, and then if I go, right, notice I've got in the scratch blocks, I've got nothing in the on start here. I'm gonna switch now to stop simulation. I'm gonna switch now to text. Okay, continue. Okay, now it gives me my code as C++. So 13 high, wait, 13 low, wait. All right, and then in setup, it's giving me some more code here where I have to say that pin 13 is an output. So I have to do that. If I don't do that, I'm just going to comment out this code so it doesn't run right now. If I start, it works, but it's really dim because I haven't told it that that's an output pin. So if I uncomment that and run it, okay, now it's nice and bright. There we go. Okay, what we're going to do, folks, is we're going to try and add to this code to make a cool little light show. All right. So what I'm going to do is if I stop the simulation, I'll copy this, paste it. All right. You can do Control C, Control V. Let's pop that there so I can get rid of that. There you go. Click, drag that down here. So if I put another one here, and then I go from pin 12 over to the LED, and then I click on this resistor, Control C, Control V, copy paste, right? And then I can put that from the negative leg of the resistor to the negative power rail. Okay, so now that's on pin 12. And then if I go to my code, all I do is I copy the code for pin 13, and I do it for pin 12. So I can go, okay, this whole line of code here, Control C, copy that, enter, Control V, paste it, and then change it to pin 12. So now I've got pin 12 as an output. And then in my code here, I'm turning on pin 13, waiting, turning off pin 13, waiting. So if I go copy that, paste, okay, and then change it to 12. 12. And then let's run that. That one goes on, off. That one goes on, off. All right. If I want it to go faster, I can reduce the time. Okay, so let's make it go a lot faster. So let's make the delay 200 milliseconds instead. Okay, 200. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Okay, so now it's faster. I can change the color of this. Stop simulation. Change the color of this if I want to make it a different color. Change it to green or whatever. Okay, makes it look cool. And what I want you to do is I want you to add a bunch of other LEDs and add the code to make them turn on and turn off. Okay, so I'll just pause the video for a second, and then I'll do that in mind and come back to it. Hey folks, so I added a bunch of LEDs and I kind of copy pasted the code, right, for other pins, for pin 11, 10, 9, to get a sequence of LEDs. I forgot, I wanted to show you this too. So look, the top two are bright and the last three are dim. That's because I forgot to do what I said to not forget to do, which is up here where it's in void setup. I need to set stop simulation so I can edit the code. I need to set all of those pins as output. So copy that, Control C, Control V, Control V. So I need one for 11, 10, and 9. Okay, so I need to set pin 11 as an output, pin 10 as an output, pin 9 as an output. Okay, now hopefully when I run it, they'll all be nice and bright. There we go, lovely. Okay, so you play around with this, add a bunch of LEDs, different colors, make them flash, different speeds, changing the delay time. You can make them light down and then light up. Just whatever pattern you want that involves a bunch of LEDs and some cool code. All right, good job, folks.